Hiya, I'm from Enham, a disability charity based in Enham, Alamein, although we do cover a wide area of geographical area with our services. Based in Enham, so we will provide care homes, supported living, social activities and work placements for each and every disabled person we support. When I say we're a disabled charity, we also look at any disability, so we don't actually just ring-fence a person and say they've only just got, as such, dyslexia to cerebral palsy. We look at each and every person as a person. We provide direct payments, we provide work programmes and work choices in and around, so as far from Leicester to Hull, Dorset, Bournemouth and Somerset as well.
So can you tell me what the charity is and how you've got
the charity is Brave Hearts Children's Charity, which started in 1991 in aid of children in Andover and Test Valley, for children under 16 who need very special equipment. And we go from area to area fundraising in support of their appeal.
So, how did you get involved? Were you there at the very beginning then? Tell me that.
I got involved at the beginning because my daughter came back from school and asked me to help a young girl called Lucy Dennis. And while I was a security officer in the Chancery Centre, I raised £10,000 in 4 weeks.
How did you raise that money? What did you do? Were you collections?
Just collecting and advertising. It's been going since then.
It's quite an impressive amount of money to have raised in that way.
We've raised a lot more than that. But,
That's brilliant. And do you enjoy being able to do something like that?
I don't do it by myself. I've got other volunteers. I couldn't do it without them. But it's worthwhile.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
And my husband David and I started the Bruce Trust 23 years ago. We run holidays for disabled, disadvantaged and elderly people on wide beam purpose-built canal boats. They're all based at Great Bedwin on the Kennet and Avon Canal, and they've been extremely successful in that we have many repeat bookings every year. We can cater for most disabilities. We have lots of families that take our family boat, which only sleeps 6, but the other boats sleep 10 or 12, and they go out from week to week, either Friday to Friday or Saturday to Saturday. You might have to stop there for a minute and edit it. We started the Bruce Trust because my husband's father was always a polio victim. He lived on crutches and died at a very young age. So when we sold the company quite well in 1988, we decided that we would put something back into the community. And having done a lot of research, we discovered the canal that ran very close to where we lived was a suitable project to start on. But we'd never been on a canal boat in our lives, so we had to go and learn all about it ourselves first. However, it has proved to be very satisfying in that the amount of people we can cater for each year, and with their varying disabilities, which empowers them to be independent on these canal boats, because they can even steer the boats, although they weigh 27 tonnes, the big ones, and they're about 60 foot long. And we have remote steering devices for those with limited upper limb mobility. I've run out of steam.
What do you get out of it? How do you feel having started this, and what you feel you might have achieved through doing this?
I think it's the fact that we can bring so much enjoyment to people who might otherwise think their lives are limiting or limited, because they can be so independent and do things for themselves on these boats, and it all moves at a fairly slow pace.
Have you had feedback where people, having had that experience with you, have then gone on and attempted other things in their life that they might not have considered possible?
We probably have, but because we don't see them again perhaps from year to year, because they're repeat bookings, we don't necessarily know about that.
Okay.
But we feel that we have helped them to go and do other things.
I'm sure you have. I'm really sure.
Well, it's a genetic condition that actually affects the skin. If you think back to the dinosaur age, there was one called an Ichthyosaurus. This is where the name ichthyosis comes from, because it is scale like a fish. Now, within ichthyosis there are 27 different types. And within those types, you have different levels of severity. So you've got children that are very mild, like my granddaughter, is probably the mildest person we know with ichthyosis, to a condition of ichthyosis called Harlequins, and that is the severest. Now, when the youngest one was born, and I believe this is her, this is what she looks like. Yeah, it's dreadful, isn't it? But she leads a normal life, a life as normal as she possibly can. She has to be creamed with very thick emollients, rather like Vaseline, but even thicker than Vaseline. And she has to be, her sister as well, has to be covered in that, because otherwise their skin just cracks, bleeds, and they would be very, very sore and uncomfortable. So their daily regime begins at 4 o'clock in the morning with a bath, and they have almost like a scrubbing brush to scrub off the skin that has grown, that would take you 2 weeks to grow. It's taken her overnight to grow. And she has to scrub that off, then she has to get out of the bath, be patted dry, then this cream put on, and that regime happens getting in the bath, out of it, getting scrubbed 2 or 3 times a day.
Is it like sort of a permanent disease?
It is permanent. There is no cure. The only thing you can do is keep your skin comfortable. There's no medication, it's just pharmaceutical companies keep coming up with it. It's an inherited condition. Now, we have a granddaughter with it. My husband might carry the gene, the recessive gene. I might, we don't know. One of us carries it, which we passed on to our daughter. Our daughter has then met a chap, married him, and they've had a baby. Now, it was an absolute shock to us when this baby was born, because she was bright red, hence the colour for our logo. And I was told by the midwife that she had lots of oxygen, and that was normal. Well, it wasn't, because it didn't look normal to me. So she then began to peel around her mouth. By about day 4, the whole of her skin was falling off, and she had to have cream put on her. They said, oh, don't worry, she was an early baby. No, she wasn't. She wasn't late either. So they then decided that a dermatologist should look at her about 6 months before she was given a diagnosis of ichthyosis. But in the meantime, she shed her skin like a snake. But she has turned out to have it very, very mildly. So if she stood here now, you would not know, other than she has red cheeks on a good day. On a bad day, when she's had a cold, her body's too busy sorting out the virus for the cold, so her skin goes to pot. But within weeks, she's back to normal again. With these children, it's slightly different. They never look, they don't have a day where they do look good. But that is the severest, and she is the mildest. But it's varying forms. But with this condition, you have it for life. And as it's only 1 in 300,000 births, it is extremely rare.
Do they have to be careful of like going out in the sun too much?
Yeah, they don't have to avoid the sun, but you wouldn't want to go out in it for too long. Dermatologists have come up with a skin, a sun cream for their skin, which gives them some sort of protection. But I think with children like these Harlequin children, they wouldn't want to be out in the sun, because I think it would be, their skin would be quite sensitive, so they wouldn't want to go out.
I think that's quite sad.
Is it the same with the cold as well?
Yeah. Yes. So the cold winds would affect, dry your skin out exceedingly.
So it's sort of kind of like those sort of diseases like cystic fibrosis. You get to carry.
Yeah, it's a recessive gene that you don't know you've got until the two get together. You know, but I know families that had 2 children and then had a third with ichthyosis. My daughter had a second baby who hasn't got ichthyosis.
It's very unpredictable.
Yeah, it's very unpredictable. Well, 25% chance. Yeah, 1 in 4.
I actually did genetics.
Oh, did you? Oh, right. Yeah, so that,
It's quite hard actually.
Yes, yeah, I would imagine it would be.
Like dominant and recessive genes.
Yes. Yes, well the recessive gene is responsible. I mean, we don't know where it's come from, we don't know which one of us has got it, but we know one of us has. Yeah. And there's no tests for it yet because they've got to identify the gene before they can test for it. But finding out which one of us has got it would be no benefit to what's happening now. But, you know, in future generations, it won't be in our lifetime. Future generations, it will be useful, you know, helpful to them. But in a nutshell, that is ichthyosis. There's a lot more to it.